In this video I'm planning on putting a cover across here to provide power and all the various connection points needed for the CNC, as well as fitting some fans to blow cool air up through the case. So you can see the case is mostly done already. We've got all the buttons, dials, lights and the interlock in place. An obvious exception there is this 16 amp plug, which just, 13 amp plug, which just sticks out the bottom of the case at the moment. That will be going, and I'll be fitting this 16 amp socket to the bottom of the case. Originally my plan had been to use a panel socket like this with a cover. Now that's all well and good, but the trouble is it needs a male plug to go with it. And of course that's incredibly dangerous. The idea is I use an extension lead from a 16 amp socket somewhere in the workshop when it's built and connect it up, but of course an extension lead would have a female end to it. So that, despite being bought, is useless for this project, which is a shame because that's quite a nice socket, but I'm sure it will come in useful somewhere. So the first thing, just loose this up inside the case. There's just about space to push the plug up here. Be careful with it. The bottom panels come with these gaskets, and they've just got a bit of sticky on the back, so you just peel the paper off, and that will stick around here. And then you've got these panels to just attach there, and somewhere in my box of bits are all the screws to hold that on. So first things first, I will try and connect this gasket onto here. Now I have had a corner off and it is incredibly sticky, so need to take a bit of care with this or I'm going to end up in a right mess. I think if I line up these holes with the screw holes, I should probably be okay. Because it should just then cause everything to line up naturally, and it's only really the screw holes that I need. So, yeah, as I suspected, the gaskets are not exactly the world's greatest fit. It's quite stretchy, so it should be okay. Oh yeah, it's not bad. So she's a little Allen key just to push out the hanging tags, whatever they were called. I apologise for the awkward camera angle. The camera is actually sellotaped to the mitre saw at the minute. I don't have a proper stand for it. Hopefully you can see what's going on, mate. So nearly there. only a couple of holes left to do. This case, forget what it's called, just a moment. It's by a company called Tempur-Pano, and it's a really nice case. It's good heavy duty steel, everything inside it bolts together nicely. It's a good solid feel when it closes. All in all, quite impressed. It's not the cheapest case you can buy. I think this was about 80-90 quid, that sort of price, but worth every penny, I think. Down. There we go. There's the gasket on. And with any luck, when I offer that up, it should fit nicely. Spot on. Yep. There we go. Now I'll just find some screws. It's the bag of bits that comes with the case. So these are really good quality power heads. Really quite nice. I just put a couple in because I want to be able to line bits up. Not going in. Okay, so something to bear in mind. It's very easy for it to get a bit out of line. Oh yes. Oop. Okay, so this. It's better. Right. So there we go. That's that loosely attached. So yeah, so the case comes with these hanging brackets and the various bits of hardware necessary. So the plan is to wall mount this and then have these connectors running via CY cable like this. So shielded 5-core cable. That's actually from the control board, the bob to one of the driver modules, but similar thing running to the steppers. So here I've got a couple of fans. and then the guards for the fans. So quickly open one of these. There you go. Just looks very much like the sort of 12 volt computer fan you get, except it's 24 volts. What's it? What power is it? 24 volts, 0.16 an amp. So not many watts, few watts, easily run off the 24 volt safety supply. The idea is that the fans will only run when the 24 volt supply is powered on, so after you press the go button. That way you keep noise down in the workshop when it's not needed, because of course these fans, the 24 volt is powered all the time, but only when the contactor is engaged do you actually need these fans running, because then once the contactor is engaged you've got the power supply for the steppers is powered up, and that could generate a significant amount of heat. And the VFD of course does actually generate quite a bit of heat. Whether the VFD stays in the case, I don't know. It may do, it may not. So anyway, just a quick rough placement. I'm going to have a fan here somewhere. And then I was thinking another fan somewhere there maybe. So this one will do the main transformer coil and the VFD, and then this one does all the stepper drives and the bulb. And I don't think the bulb will generate much heat anyway, but it's worth putting it there just in case. So that's getting a bit close to there. So that's going to have to go somewhere about here. Yeah, this could be quite tight. And then we've got the plugs and sockets from the other video. So we've got these, and we've got 7 of these. So, but I'm pretty sure if I mount them, if I mount them top and bottom like that, I think there's more than enough space there. So there's two like that, 3, 4. I can certainly get 4 across there, and this can go across a bit. So I reckon I can get 5 in a line, which will do all the steppers, and then there's potential for another 5. But at the minute I only need 2. There is possibly some expansion in this case still to do additional control features, but at the minute I just need 2. So now I'm just going to do a more detailed layout of this panel so that I know exactly where to cut holes for all these things, and there's some fairly significant holes to be cut in there, which is that's going to be tricky for me. I don't really have much in the way of metalworking equipment, so that's probably going to be a case of trace that outline, drill, cut with the jigsaw, and then file it into submission. A long, slow process. So I don't know. I think you'd use a fly cutter if you had one. Right. So hopefully now you've got some video that doesn't have a massive white flare on it. Unfortunately, as I say, the camera is sellotaped to the mitre source, so the lamp from the camera was reflecting off one of the pieces of sellotape and was causing a flare on the lens. Right, so off camera I've attached the other panel to the top of the case just to get it out of the way, and I have used my patented pen on a pencil device to mark the inside of this panel, so that hopefully when I take these out I should be able to see where I can fit items So just take these screws out. So before you do this, it's always worth putting some marks on so you can locate it. So people plug, and that's up. And I take that off. Excellent. There you go, you can see the orange shows me where I can fit items. Now if I just get a long ruler, and just tidy up those lines a little bit. This is just a water-based marker, it just comes off these quite easily. Right, so now I just mark that as up, and then P here. That looks an awful lot like a B. So power there. And of course this is the inside, so putting in there. Now this has got to go, this should go to the top. Just worth double checking that. Yep. So this has got to go to the top, so we're talking something like that. Then we've got a fan. There, and then another fan over this side, and then the connectors. Oh yeah, seeing that laid out like that now, there's obviously a lot of room, because the nice thing about these is this is, you know, easily within the footprint of that square. So if you can fit those squares in, you can easily fit the rest of the connector in. Might be a bit tricky to do up the nail screw, but certainly not too hard. Yeah, so I should be able to fit 5, I guess, there. Right, just do that. So that's 4, 5, and yeah, I could probably even fit 6 in if I had to. And I could always move that across, so, if necessary. So yeah, that's perfect. Now it's time to mark out on here. I'll do that off camera because that's going to take a while. And then mark for where I need to cut holes. These obviously go on the inside, these will go on the outside. And everything's back to front, so I've got to make sure I cut that size hole, not that one, which is slightly larger. Not quite sure what that is. I'll just get so we've got 10 inches. That is 20 mil-ish, slightly under 20 mil. So I might be able to get a drill big enough for that. I really hope I can, because that's going to be quite difficult to chain drill and then run around with the jigsaw. And I'm not sure my file will go into that. So hopefully I can find a drill bit big enough. So I might give it a go with a spade bit, because I know I've got 20 mil spade bits. So I think it'll probably ruin the spade bit though. So there you go, until I mark out now, which I'll do off camera. I'll see you in a minute. Well, I wasn't going to film the layout, but I thought I might as well. So I'll probably just put this on fast forward because it'll be quite a dull process to watch otherwise. So the first thing I'm going to do is just give myself a bottom layout mark. And you don't have to be enormously accurate. You'd be amazed how accurate your eye is. Just lay it out with equal distance there and there, or by eye equal, and you'll find that you'll be incredibly accurate. So this socket, you've got in there just a little tab. If I find the right screwdriver, I should be able to just push that in and then rotate. There we go. So you can just take that off, and then that can be used as your template. Very handy. And if you line that up with that, like that, just draw around it. And you need to cut the full hole out here, so I'll draw around the inside, and then where we put the screws, put down. Got to be quite accurate with these, I've found. So there we go. That gives us that. This probably, I'll try and cut a circle for the fan. Don't know how easy that's going to be. Right, before we do that, I'm just going to check that this actually does line up, because as you can see I've not opened it yet. But I had to, bought them with that intention. So you've got a wire mesh. Oops, what was that? Oh right, so it's a tiny little clip. I didn't realise it would come with that. That little clip will go, the screw or bolt holding it on will go together, and that will touch the wire mesh and ground the wire mesh. And this holds the mesh in, and then that just clips over the outside, because there's no holes through here, so that must go on afterwards. That's unfortunate, because that requires a countersunk bolt, and of course I don't have any countersunk bolts at the moment, so I'm going to have to buy some specifically for these, which is going to cost a fortune considering how many I need. So about 5p worth of bolts, and it's going to cost me a tenner. That's frustrating. But there we go, so it all put together like that. So I don't need those bits at the moment, so we can put them back. And now I just need this bit. And I think yeah, if I shall I try and centre it up there? No, I'll put it on the same level. Put everything on this layout line at the bottom. put this one over this end. Let's get this pencil off before I stab myself in the eye. And I won't lay out for the connectors just yet, because I haven't got all of the connectors, so it's probably best if I don't lay out. I think that will do for now. It'll certainly keep me going. I've got two big octagonal holes and a circular hole and a bunch of drilling to do, so I'll see you all in a moment. I had a quick look at the video and I noticed that you couldn't actually see the orange lines very clearly from where the camera was before, so here's just a quick shot of the layout. You've got the power on this side, and then two fans, and then all the various connectors will go across here.